See, and that's what I'm talking about. It's just drinking.
I was not able to turn myself in. I apologize for that.
Did you call your attorney and say you couldn't make it?
But again, I don't know why it's coming up with that. And I didn't have access any of those days to alcohol or have them in my possession at a no drinking facility. So honestly, I'm telling you, I don't have access to
I'm going to tell you, I'm not believing what she's telling. I just don't think she's going to do what anybody asked her to do.
I can assure you I'll be here on the 1st. I will.
You're just not following through. You don't do what you don't want to do. Well, it doesn't work that way. But at this time, defendant's bond is revoked.
This entitled Brett walked.
The woman in Judge Simpson's courtroom is already in trouble. She's out on bond because of drug or alcohol problems. But instead of following the rules, she messed with her ankle monitor and got caught drinking.
No scese pretending like nothing happened.
But in this judge's courtroom, lying is a fast way back to jail. Bond is based on trust, and she broke that. Watching her try to explain herself is uncomfortable. What do you think? Was the judge too tough or just doing his job?
Let's dive in and watch.
We are here for PCC and bond violation. I understand the court has received and reviewed the materials that were sent over yesterday.
I did.
Thank you, Your Honor. The only request that we would have when we're discussing those materials, she is staying in a shelter in Livingston County. There is a separate DV having nothing to do with any of this. And there are some cross allegations in that case. So she's just requesting that we not say the name of the shelter if someone is listening on Zoom to where she's staying.
Understood.
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe that the materials that we provided were pretty thorough in terms of where Ms. Brown has been coming from and what her circumstances are in pertaining to the bond violation. So I was wondering if the court had any questions.
Well, I do, because I'm not sure how you provided the materials, but I'm not sure how that relates to the specific allegations of the bond violation. Because what I have, certainly, maybe one might be able to look at the consumption of alcohol, but there was a tampering that occurred for a 12-hour period.
So I am going to let Ms. Brown address that herself with the court. You can explain to him where you're at in terms of the allegation of I had forwarded her the reports the same day. And just so that Your Honor knows, she did intend to turn herself into the jail this morning, but she was unable to get a ride this morning. And so she's here for in-person court this afternoon. So regarding the tamper on 623 and then the positive on 625, the court is looking for either an explanation or an admission as to these two.
Your Honor, I don't have any clue why those were coming up that way. I know that I was called in to community corrections to have my unit replaced for servicing. And when on my way there, Miss Julian called me and said that she received a notification from courts that I had a tampering and violation that she would, wanted clarification about. And I had no idea what she was talking about. I told her that I was just called in to do a replacement on the unit itself. I have only been at La Casa AA meetings and with AA people because I don't currently have transportation and a license to get myself to and from these places. And I have not had access or been in the environments of drinking whatsoever. The only events outside of AA are AA events that I've been to, such as there was a sober rave in Royal Oak that I'd gone to, but that wasn't even in the dates in question. So I'll stop with that. But I was completely confused. So I had the unit replaced. And while at community corrections, they had told me that I had this tampering and violation 2 counts. And I was in for my reading the week before during this time. And they said that I was all set, good to go. We'll see you next week. And so I was really unsure why I was getting that unless it was due to needing servicing. But I've seen, Your Honor, this is way too important.
Well, hold on a second. Just so that we're clear before you go on with your story.
Okay.
On June 23rd at the 12:56 a.m. time.
Yes, sir.
That's when the tamper is detected.
Okay.
With the unit. On the 25th, there isn't a tamper. It's just drinking.
again, I don't know why it's coming up with that unless the servicing part of it needed it. Because at the shelter where I'm currently residing, there's a locked door policy from 11:30 p.m. until 7 in the morning. And I didn't have access any of those days to alcohol or have them in my possession at a no drinking facility. And I was at the facility at both of those times.
It's hard to believe what she's saying. She acts like it's impossible to sneak alcohol into a shelter, but we all know that's not true. People break those rules all the time. It's not a high security prison. Her main argument is basically, it couldn't have happened, which isn't convincing at all. Instead of helping herself, she's making things worse with weak excuses. The judge is still giving her a chance to explain, but she's just wasting it. Do you think she's lying or just unlucky?
You're just not
Lucky.
Documented on camera, I believe they have at the shelter, as well as my sign in and out sheet, and documentation from the shelter staff themselves saying that I was there and there was no evidence of me using. The doors lock at 11:30. I'm a smoker. I come in and I pretty much turn out the lights and go to bed by midnight every night. So honestly, I'm telling you, I do not know unless it has something to do with the servicing aspect of it. I don't have access to there, and it's a couple miles
Does she
away.
want a hearing on this? Because I'm going to tell you, I'm not believing what she's telling me.
Okay.
Then we would request a hearing and we would ask Community Corrections to bring a log of their, not just the violation reports, but if she's been indicating, and she did to me that day, that they called her to Community Corrections to switch out her unit. If there was a problem, and this would have been the unit that was switched out. After this, this would have been the problem unit, is what I'm saying, is that if there was a problem with the unit. So perhaps we hearing where Community Corrections can bring their documentation of what they did and when, and the servicing of their units.
How much time would the people need?
I'm emailing Community Corrections right now. And time that works for the courts, I can bring one of them over. Anytime that works for the courts, I can bring one of them over for a bond violation hearing, whatever the court.
All right. I'll set it for August. I'll set the bond violation hearing. As to bond in this case. Now, what I'm worried about is I issued a bench warrant without bond.
I understand, Your Honor. I informed Ms. Brown of that the same day that the court issued the warrant. I did instruct her to turn herself into the jail. I do believe that part toward the end of her letter that was directed to the court expresses that she was emotionally really grappling with coming into custody based on all of her circumstances that were outlined. I have continued to encourage her to turn herself into the jail. She was going to do so this morning, but she does not drive.
Ms. Julian, and I'll just tell you, that's part of my problem. Part of my problem is I know how you operate, Ms. Julian. You told your client, tell them what the right thing to do is, and they don't do it. And then today, or yesterday when we received the information and we understood she was going to turn herself in that morning. And so we were then trying to make sure that she was going to be on the docket at the proper time so we'd see her. So she wasn't just sitting there and she doesn't turn herself in. And my staff, we're going all around trying to figure out where she is. And then I get an excuse she doesn't have a ride here. I just don't think she's going to do what anybody asked her to do. She's just going to make her own call on all this stuff. And I appreciate the circumstance that she's in and have great sympathy regarding that, but I can't let you just go around violating what the court says you need.
From Judge Simpson's view, the decision is easy. She's staying in jail until her hearing. Why? Because she already broke the rules by drinking and then tried to avoid a warrant. That kind of behavior makes judges stop giving chances. Bond is like a promise. You agree to follow the rules, and the court agrees to let you stay out. Break that promise once. Maybe you get another shot. But skip court and ignore a warrant, it's basically over. The judge isn't being mean. He's just doing what the system is designed to do. Sometimes people only learn the hard way. Should she get another chance, or did she blow it?
I do have in the next week before the first medical alcohol treatment with another drug testing per bond order. And I also have general therapy with my counselor, my therapist, all of those appointments, as well as some medical appointments that are all before the 1st of August. I have not left the state, and I was here this morning. I was not able to get here to turn myself in, but I was here for this hearing, and I can assure you I'll be here on the 1st. I really need to make these appointments.
You shouldn't have had to go through whatever. And like I said, it's not like you didn't get the information from your attorney. You didn't get that. I'm reading everything she's sending me. She's doing a yeoman's job trying to represent you and do that. You're just not following through.
I do not have a license, and I'm really sorry that I was not able to turn myself in. I apologize for that. Thank you.
Did you call your attorney and say you couldn't make it?
No, I wasn't sure yet, but I.
See, and that's what I'm talking about. I mean, Miss Julian makes a representation to us that this is what you're going to do. This is everything. And then the person that's defending you and trying to make sure that the court understands everything about you, you're not even communicating with them to say this isn't going to happen. And then you're not following her instructions.
She said she'd meet me at 1:45, and I texted her at 1 o'clock and said I'd be here at 1:30 and that I would meet her at 1:45. I didn't ask her for a ride, though. You're right.
She did text me. It was after the morning, I want to say noon, that you were not able to turn yourself in this morning and that you would be here at 1:30. So I said that to meet me here since you were going to be meeting me here. So.
How'd you get here this time?
I had a friend of mine picked me up.
I think that what you want to do is you don't do what you don't want to do. And so you don't put the effort forth. And then everybody is sort of just misled as to what you're going to do. Well, it doesn't work that way. Because it puts a whole lot of people out. Because, like I said, we're going on Miss Julian's representation of what she instructed you to do and what you said you were going to do. And you didn't do it. And then everybody's looking around. We don't even know where you are or that you're going to show up at this time. You don't get to make those choices. So at this time, Miss Julian, you can file a motion regarding her additional appointments and other things that she may have to do. But at this time, defendant's bond is revoked, defendant's remand.
Mr. Your Honor, thank you. In the meantime, for the record, we are trying to see if we can resolve this case at district court level. So
Okay.
those conversations will continue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Breaking bond rules is bad enough.
But ignoring a warrant too, that's usually the final straw. Bond is already risky, and when you keep making mistakes, no one's surprised when it ends badly. She had chances, but kept making poor choices. The bond system depends on honesty, and people like her who treat it like a joke make things worse for everyone. Still, Judge Simpson stands out because of his patience. He gives people chances, but if they show no respect, he takes action. Some people just need to learn the hard way. What do you think? Did he make the right call?